and good evening everyone. I hope you all are fine, and this is just a quick check whether my audio and video are clearly visible to you all or not. Please mention in the chat box, am I clearly audible and visible to all of you or not? Okay, my video is okay, but my audio is slightly buzzing. Voice is lagging. Just give me a second, I'll fix this. Please check, is the audio better now? Are we good to go? Okay, now please check everyone. Now, I guess now there is no background noise. Okay, so since the issue of the sound is resolved, it's clear now. I have checked it. Right. So let us start with our session. So at today's club meet, we are going to celebrate the anniversary of the legendary telescope, that's Hubble Space Telescope. The session is dedicated to Hubble, and today we are going to understand many new facts about the Hubble. We are going to understand that how Hubble was deployed, what was the story behind the Hubble, what was the motivation to make the Hubble, what was the need of sending a telescope after spending billions of dollars, right? That too in space. Why we cannot have these kind of telescopes over here on Earth, and how Hubble actually celebrates its own birthday. So all these things we are going to discuss in this particular interaction, right? I will take up all your questions as well side by side. Just drop all your questions in the comment box. Okay, just drop all your questions in the comment box. I will take up all the questions either now or at the end of the webinar. Okay, so let me see. There are some comments now. So you comment to in school. Yeah, I was there. Then okay, so I can see some comments here. Right, I can see some comments here. Those who are saying like they know me or they have seen me. Okay, those who are not able to hear me, please uh, increase the volume at your end. Okay, because if I try to do that from my end, it voice might become little scratchy, right? So I'm trying to do that from my end too, to increase the volume at your end. I guess now this must be much louder, much better, right? So without wasting any more time, let me take you to the presentation. So once again, welcome everyone to our next iAstronomer session, and that is all about a webinar on Hubble Space Telescope. So today, if you see it at this picture, can anybody guess what exactly is this? Mention in the comment box. What does this picture means? Okay, so those who are feeling voice is too loud, please reduce the volume at your end. Okay, yeah, I have got one correct answer here, and many of you are going to guess it right that it is nebula, nebula, pillars of creation, Orion Nebula. Okay, okay, with the answers coming. Let's see. Okay, so many of you have said nebula. Some of you are saying Eagle Nebula. Someone has said sir pillars of something you don't remember. Okay, Orion Nebula. Now, let me tell you what exactly is this. Right. So over here, what we are seeing is actually that is a part of Eagle Nebula, and if you look carefully on the top, there are four pillar kind of structures. Right, there are four pillar kind of structures over here in this region, and this image is popularly known as pillars of creation. Right, popularly known as pillars of creation. Okay, this nebula is very far, but how we are able to get such a beautiful image of this, all thanks to the legendary telescope, which was launched in 1990, and it is going to be 32 years of age tomorrow, and we have got this because of Hubble. So today's webinar, Let's Know Hubble, is all dedicated to know about it. So Hubble Space Telescope. It is a telescope which is orbiting the Earth at a height of nearly 547 kilometers. Okay, that's altitude is not exactly fixed. Why? Because sometimes its orbit keeps on decaying, and a team here on the Earth, we have to raise up that altitude. So, Eagle Nebula, or you can say the pillars of creation, the picture was taken by this. Now, moving on, talking more about the Hubble Space Telescope, today we will also understand that how Hubble got its name. Who was the person after which the Hubble Space Telescope was named? Any idea about that? Any idea about that? That after whose name this telescope was named as Hubble Space Telescope? Wow. Right. So I have started getting the answers here. One answer. Good, good, very good. So most of you have this idea. Most of you have this idea that after whom this telescope was named. Now let's talk about this telescope in detail. Okay, so setting up Hubble in the sky was like setting up or giving eye to the earth. There was a question that why we should put up a telescope up in the space. Why we should give eye to the earth. Does earth need an eye? Is I a human being? Again, the answer lies in that on the earth we have some very huge telescopes. See, our whole month was dedicated to the telescopes. So we had learned about the telescope in the past. Okay, and those who have not learned, we will learn about it in the coming months. So we have the Strasbourg Observatory in France, where I have such a large telescope, a very large refracted telescope. Then I have La Silla Observatory in Chile. Here you can see an astronomer who is working. Then I'm having this Mauna Kea Observatory in Hawaii, which is almost a two-floor big telescope. So what is the reason that what was the need that I need to send the telescope out in space? Why Hubble was supposed to be placed in space? So the reason is over here. Can you identify what all things are there in this picture? Can you all identify what is shown in this picture? Okay, so some of you are trying to tell me, sir, it is a city light or night time in a city, okay, a very bright city, bare city, New York Square, colorful neon lights in the building, parking area, right? So you all have understood one thing, that this view is not good. Or is it the best view that we can have for any street? Is this the best view that we can have for any street? Or we can have some better photographs? No, definitely this is not the best view. So what's wrong with this? There is a blurred layer which is there on the top of this picture, right? There's a layer which is making this photo blur, and that's why we are not able to see anything clearly. Like, same is the case when we were observing the sky from the telescope from here on Earth. So what is limiting us? What is there which is making our views blur? Though when we see the things from a telescope, it will appear very beautiful, right? But if you go out in space and then try to see those things, they will appear more beautiful. So what is there between the Earth and the space object that is making our view blurred? Any ideas? Okay, someone said lens, someone said light pollution, sky, atmosphere, light pollution, atmosphere, huge amount of distance, atmosphere, lens, rain, atmosphere, rotation. Okay, see, the correct point over here is, see, our Earth is surrounded by a thick blanket of gases known as atmosphere. And just because of this atmosphere, have you ever seen that stars twinkle for us? It's because there is a lot of turbulence in the atmosphere. Different layers of atmosphere, they move with different speed, right? And that's why the image that we see here on Earth is not that very clear. So how to get a better image of everything that we see out in space? So for that, one option is that we can remove the atmosphere, or second option is we can send an observatory out in space that crosses the atmosphere and then do the photography. So which one is feasible? Can we remove the atmosphere Answer is no, we cannot. But can we send a machine out in space? Answer is yes. So the year was 1923. The father of rocketry, Mr. Goddard, he thought in one of his books, he mentioned that yes, if we are able to make the rocket, why can't we send a telescope out in space? And that was the first time when someone got an idea like that, that we can send a telescope as a payload out in space. Though the idea of Hubble Space Telescope came very late after that. Okay, it's not very like it didn't came in 1923, but the first, you can say, the reference of sending any observatory out in space came from there. Right now, if we remove the atmosphere, or if we remove this blurred screen from here, how will the photograph look like? So it will look like somewhat like this, right? So a bright night sky, or you can say a bright city road, but our view was blurred because of something that was obstructing our view. Same is the case with the space. There is atmosphere which blurs our view. So as I said, we need to cross the atmosphere and then look out. So if we look above the atmosphere, we do not have anything obstructing our view. There is no turbulence basically. Right now, if there is no turbulence, then our views are much better and we can get the very clear images of the space. Now, talking about the Hubble or sending any mission out in space, it takes a lot and lot of money. Why? Because see, first of all, sending anything out in space was a challenge at that time. Then second thing, that telescope should be able to move itself, right? So a computer system was required, a special computer system was required. Then its planning, execution, how the telescope will work, a team needs to be constituted, lot many things were required. It was impossible for any single space agency to fund it all alone. So initially, with a fund of $1.5 billion, Hubble Space Telescope was made. Right? Initially, the plan was something else. The cost was not this much. Cost was very low, but frequent delays in making the project and launching the telescope costed it so much. Right? There were many points where we had to delay this project. One of the most famous one was the Challenger disaster, right? So because of that, we have to like postpone the operation by 3 years almost. Another factor of delay was when the mirror of this telescope was getting made. So that company made a lot of delay. So because of that, 5 to 6 months were lost. So that's why, and keeping everything intact so that it doesn't get contaminated. Right? It also costed a huge amount to NASA. So initially $1.5 billion was spent, and on 24th April 1990, aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery, Hubble Space Telescope was launched. And here you can see how the telescope was deployed up in space. So this is the telescope, and it was launched through one of the robotic arm came out from the space shuttle, right? And this telescope was left in the space. Again, as I said, at an altitude of 550 kilometers, so that it has crossed the complete atmosphere. Right? So, in 1990 it was launched. Everyone was happy. Every scientist was happy because their hard work of nearly 20 years has paid off. Right? And hard work of 20 years has paid off. So, what happened after that? They were expecting very amazing results from the Hubble. And all of the scientists, they were in shock after getting some of the first images from Hubble, because they didn't got the result as they expected. Right? See, I'm going to show you something here. One news. NASA's 1.5 billion blender, stars crossed. Some drama shows, they compared Hubble with the sinking Titanic. So lot many mock-ups were made, right, showing that Hubble is not a good telescope and all. Reason was simple, because the first type of images that we got from Hubble was something like this. And scientists, they were like, they were in confusion. How did this happen? After doing so many checks and everything, the images that we got was something like this. So were they expecting same kind of images? Answer is no. They expected a much better detailed view, because we can get better images than this from here itself, from the Earth. And what was the like point of sending a telescope after spending so much out in space? So why this error came? So a committee was made, and after 1990 they launched the Hubble, and after like within a month or 2 months they realized this thing. Okay, so a committee was made, and they tried to investigate the problem. That what was the problem? And from the committee the result came out, and they said that the problem is in the mirror. So when they were making, the company who was making, that is Perkins Elmer was the name of the company who manufactured the mirror for the Hubble Space Telescope. Right. So the instrument at the time of making the mirror was miscalibrated, and because of that there was an anomaly of thickness equal to of your one hair was there. Can you imagine? There was an anomaly of a thickness equal to your one hair, and because of all that, scientists had to face a lot of criticism. So now scientists had two options. Option one was to bring Hubble back here on Earth and repair it. Or option two, they could have decommissioned the Hubble Space Telescope. But here I want to make a point. Hubble is placed at such a special point, that is only 550 kilometers above the surface, because scientists had pre-planned this thing, that later on in future we might have to upgrade Hubble. Now this was the time when they came up with the third option after knowing this problem, that we can send the astronauts, we can train them, okay, and we can repair the Hubble out in space. Right? So they trained the astronauts for some time, and here you can see the picture how big is the mirror of the Hubble. By making the mirror, there was a small anomaly. Right? Now scientists, they figured out the solution, that yes, now they are going to train some of the astronauts. So a team was made, they were trained, okay, and an STS-61 mission on 2nd December 1993. Right, a team went up in space. They did something to Hubble. Now there can be two ways, okay, by which Hubble can be created. Option one is either we can change the complete mirror. Okay, either we can change the complete mirror. That was very difficult. So what should be done? So instead of changing the mirror, what they did was they changed the instruments inside the Hubble. So it is exactly like, if your eyes are not working properly, will you change your eyes or will you wear the spectacles? You will definitely wear the spectacles. Right? So what they did some corrections in all the instruments, right, and changed the instruments instead of changing the mirror. Right? And they calibrated instruments in a way that even if the data that comes out from the mirror is a bit blurred, that instruments can correct that data, and now we are getting other fantastic images. Right? Now over here I can see a question, that So why was Hubble replaced by James Webb, and also what was different in James Webb? One, Hubble is not replaced. Hubble is still in its position working for us. James Webb is thought to be the successor of Hubble. Why? Because it is having much better instruments and working in the same wavelength as that of Hubble. That is, it is going to handle the infrared part, right? So it is 1993. Okay, the year is 1993 when STS-61 mission was sent. Now, moving on. So scientists, they did all the things in the Hubbard. Okay, and once the corrections were made, after that we got some amazing results from Hubble. Right. So first of all, this is the birthplace of a star. That is a nebula. This is the first picture that we got before the corrections in the Hubble. And once the corrections were made, here you can see the details. Right. Now Hubble was able to focus onto the nebula. Again, this target, this is Pinwheel Galaxy. And after the correction, the Pinwheel Galaxy was like this. So you can see the difference. That just because of that small anomaly, how much difference you were getting in the images. Next. See, when we look up in the sky, we see stars something like this. You might get a glimpse of planet as well with the naked eye. Right, something like this. If you own a small telescope, then a planet will look somewhat like this. Yes or no? I guess many of you might have seen the planets through telescope. If yes, tell me, does a planet look like this that I'm showing on the screen? Yes, this is planet Mars, right? So over here, if you look at the planet Mars, it will look like this. Okay, but how Hubble sees the Mars, and then how much detail we are getting from the Hubble Space Telescope. So here are some of the first images of Mars taken by Hubble. And can you see very clearly over here that there is a polar ice cap, there are some dark regions, there are some mountain regions over here. Okay, can you see all these things over here on the Mars? So this is the view of Hubble. This is the advantage that we are getting after seeing the Mars. After seeing the Mars, like without having atmosphere in between. Right? This is the difference. This is the detail in which Hubble can capture. Hubble is having both kind of cameras. One for capturing a very wide field of view and one to get the close-ups. Okay, now let's explore the Hubble and let's talk about the parts of the Hubble Space Telescope. So if you talk about the parts of the Hubble Space Telescope, see, first of all, Hubble Space Telescope looks like this. This is the structure, or you can say the basic layout of the complete telescope. Right. Now, over here, if I talk about the first part, the upper part, see this part here. Okay, this part is known as the telescope compartment. This part. This long, okay, and it is, wait, let me try to annotate this if I have the option. Okay, so this part is known as telescope compartment, right, inside which we fix the primary and the secondary mirrors of a telescope, something like this. And how does a telescope function? So in the telescope, first the light hits to the primary mirror. So you can see the primary mirror here. Okay, and the light will enter from this side. It will hit the primary mirror. Then it will hit the secondary mirror. Now after that, real telescopes that we use here on Earth, what do we have? We have eyepieces. So in Hubble, do we have eyepieces? Answer is no, we do not have eyepiece, but we have the camera equipment here. Now, where is all the camera equipment and every other thing is placed inside this? Where is all the machinery? It is inside the aft shroud. Okay, aft shroud. Now, why this aft shroud was made? See, the reason is simple. When the Hubble is out in space, that means it has to experience extreme temperatures. When it will come in front of the sun, it will be there will be so much of heat. When it will go on the backside of Earth, it will be too cold, right? And you have to keep machines working, and machines, they need a stable temperature. So this aft shroud is actually, you can see, it is having multiple layers around it, right, of aluminium and other material, which is insulating it. Okay, which is insulating all the machines from the external environment. Okay, so aft shroud, it has all the machines inside this, something like this, fitted something like this, right? Now moving on, after this, the next part is solar panels, which is giving energy to Hubble Space Telescope in order to rotate around, or in order to revolve around the Earth. Then comes high gain antenna. Hubble is having two antennas, one on the top, one at the bottom, which helps the Hubble to send information on Earth or to receive the commands from the Earth. Right? It works both ways. It's an high gain antenna. Then comes guiding sensor, in which direction Hubble has to move, which target Hubble should select next, which target it should photograph, which direction it should navigate. So guiding sensors is something which helps the Hubble to take all these decisions and do the scientific observation. It keeps the Hubble Space Telescope steady. Okay, why? Because if you want to use a telescope, it should not be moved even by an inch, because otherwise your photograph will be blurred. So guiding sensors keep the Hubble intact when it is doing the observation and taking photographs. Now, next one is aperture door. So it is exactly like the door of our house when we are not going out, or when nobody has to come and we keep it closed. Same thing in case of Hubble, when the Hubble is not working, we can close this aperture door. Now, moving on, talking about the sun. So can we observe the sun through a telescope directly? Okay, don't worry, I am not frozen. It's just I am stopped reading out your comments. Right. So over here, the question is, can we observe the sun directly? Answer is no. We cannot observe the sun directly. We need some filters for it. So can we give the same filter to Hubble? Answer is no. So we have to make sure one thing, that the Hubble is never pointing at sun. Right? Hubble is never pointing at sun. Right? So that's why Hubble has never observed the sun, and second thing, Hubble has also not observed the Mercury, because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, and we do not want even a single ray of light goes inside the Hubble from the sun. right? So that our instrument can remain safe. So this is one thing where Hubbard has never observed Sun and the Mercury. Apart from that, if you talk about the Hubble in general and its working, you can see over here about a quick fact about the Hubble, that how much data it gives every time. So it transmits about 120 GBs of data each week. Okay, 120 GBs of data, and sometimes even more than that. Right here, you can see how the Hubble works. The light enters from the side of aperture door, goes, hits the mirror, comes back to the secondary mirror, goes again, okay, to the camera, and the camera processes the image. Then through the image transmission antenna, it comes here on Earth. Right now, moving on, one more thing that we can learn from here is what is the speed of Hubble, that is 28,000 kilometers per hour. Yes, Hubble is moving with such a high speed. And don't even dare to think that Hubble is a small telescope. Answer is no, it is not a small telescope. It is a very huge telescope, almost equivalent to the size of a school bus. Right? Hubble is very huge. You can think of like the height of an average human. Okay, is 5 feet or 6 feet. Even if you take it as 6 feet, so you can see almost two humans. That's the width of Hubble, and if you talk about the height of Hubble, that is nearly 43 feet, almost 13 floors big. Hubble is such a huge telescope, right? Not 13 floors, sorry, 5 floors big. It's such a huge telescope. And how heavy it is? So its weight is nearly 11,000 kilograms. Okay, almost equivalent to two small school buses. Hubble is that heavy and that huge. And I told you that it is going around the Earth at a speed of 28,000 kilometers per hour. Okay, so how much time does it take? How much time does it take for Hubble to complete one round around the Earth? So it takes nearly 90 minutes. Now here we have the question. So then, what about the solar Parker probe, which in orbit around the Sun? So solar Parker probe, all the instruments, they are insulated, right? One, we cannot put the sheet which is used to view the sun, because in that case we will not be able to observe the other stars. So does Hubble images need to be stacked and processed? Answer is yes, they need to be stacked and processed. Okay. Now moving on from here, see this. So Hubble Space Telescope, it is named after Sir Edwin Hubbard, who was an American scientist. And why it was named after him? Because he was the one who told the world that there are many other galaxies apart from our Milky Way galaxy. Though he was not able to classify them as galaxy, he thought initially that these all are nebulas, which are beyond Milky Way, and they are going away from us. He said that yes, our universe is expanding. Later on, it was confirmed by Hubble Space Telescope that yes, our universe is expanding. Now, moving on, one picture over here, a very famous picture of Hubble. Okay, so there's a story behind it. What happened? Once Hubble was pointed towards one part of the sky for almost a month. And that was the empty part. We were not able to see any star, anything over there. So Hubble was pointed towards that part of the sky, and this picture is a result of that. And everyone in the team of Hubble was stunned. Can anybody tell me what is the importance of this image? Why this image is important? Yes, very good. Every dot is a galaxy in this picture. It shows the large number of galaxies in just one image. So it is Hubble deep field. Hubble deep field image. You could see everything. It's a sign of another Earth. Many galaxies in one. Almost all the dots in the image are galaxy, like our own galaxy Milky Way. It helped to discover new galaxies. We are not alone. Every dot is a galaxy, sir. Very good. Right, so this image is popularly known as deep field images of Hubble, and this is probably one of the first deep field images of Hubble. It's not the only image in the deep field which was picked by Hubble. So our point of pointing the this the time of pointing the Hubble Space Telescope in the empty area was not in vain. Okay, it helped us to discover that yes, there are many other galaxies and that we got to see from this particular image. All the elongated, round, long, egg-like structure, everything is a galaxy. Very few of them are the stars. Right? This we got to know from Hubble. I told you that how much time does the Hubble take to complete one round, so it takes only 1.5 hours. That means nearly in 90 minutes it is covering one round, so in the whole day it can cover up nearly 15 to 16 rounds of the Earth. Right? Yes, 15 to 16 rounds of the Earth it can cover up. Okay, next thing. Hubble never clicks the images in color. Yes, Hubble never clicks the images in color. Now this might put you in shock that why it does not click the images in color. So there's a simple reason behind it. See, the cameras that the Hubble use, it takes the image in the monochrome. Monochrome means in the grayscale, okay, in black and white. And later on, we have the scientists here on Earth, they have to add colors to it as per their color profiling, right? So they first put the red channel to it, then they put the green channel, then they put the blue channel, and the final image we get something like this. So this is the image of the Crab Nebula that is being taken by Hubble. And what Hubble has seen, this. What we see over the internet is this. Right? Something like this. And it is such a beautiful detailed image which can tell you that it is a supernova remnant. In the center there seems to be an empty place, then some gases, a shell of gases which are going out. Right? Now, 24th April is marking the 32nd anniversary of Hubble, as Hubble Space Telescope was launched on 24th of April 1990. So do you know how Hubble celebrates its own anniversary? Anyone who knows how Hubble celebrates its own anniversary? What's the reason behind colorless photo? See, the reason is very simple. If we click the photographs in monochrome, we can get the more details. That's why. The colored photos, they are of the same colors that we see. Right? Here colors do not represent any gases. Okay, here colors do not represent the gases. It's one and the same thing. Ultra deep field and deep field. In deep field you will have less galaxies. Ultra deep field, more galaxies. So does anyone know that how Hubble celebrates its anniversary? See, Hubble has a very simple schedule. On every anniversary, Hubble releases one of, no, it does not take a selfie, and it cannot take a selfie. So now Hubble has a very simple schedule. On every anniversary, it keeps on it clicks an amazing picture of space. No birthday song, that is done by curiosity, I guess, or opportunity. Now, so for this year, for 32nd anniversary, this is what Hubble has captured. Now let's listen to this video by NASA, right? What they have to say about this image of Hubble.
NASA is celebrating the Hubble Space Telescope's 32nd birthday with a stunning look at 5 galaxies, a close-knit collection called the Hickson Compact Group 40. This amazing assembly includes a giant elliptical galaxy glowing with blended light from billions of stars. Several spiral galaxies show prominent dusty lanes that outline their winding spiral arms, regions where star formation is active. We see one galaxy oriented edge-on, showing off its prominent dust along its flattened starry disk. This eclectic group of galaxies is held together in a gravitational dance. The group is so crowded that it could fit within a space less than twice the span of our own Milky Way galaxy's disk. A mysterious and invisible form of matter called dark matter may explain this tightly bound group. When galaxies with a lot of dark matter come close together, that dark matter can form a big cloud around the entire group. As the galaxies plow through this cloud of dark matter, its gravitational effects act like a frictional force that slows their motion, causing the galaxies to lose energy and fall together. This snapshot catches the galaxies at a very special moment in their lifetimes. In about 1 billion years, they will eventually collide and merge to form one giant elliptical galaxy. Hubble's incredible sensitivity also picks up a diverse collection of more distant galaxies glowing in the background. Because Hubble orbits above Earth's atmosphere, it can give us these clear views of the many wonders in our universe. For 32 years, the Hubble Space Telescope has changed the way we think of space and our place in the cosmos. Hubble has refined our understanding of the age of the universe and its rate of expansion. Its deep field images have made it possible for us to see across billions of light years, revealing ancient adolescent galaxies that we can compare with our own Milky Way. Hubble remains in good health and is expected to continue its exploration of the universe for years to come. 5 astronaut servicing missions, along with an expert technical team on the ground, have kept the telescope at the peak of its scientific capabilities. You can find out more about the Hubble Space Telescope at our website, nasa.gov/Hubble, and on social media at NASA Hubble.
Okay, so now here you can see this image which is on my screen. This is the image clicked by Hubble for this anniversary, that is 32nd anniversary. And in every anniversary, Hubble releases an amazing image clicked by himself. Right now, in this, what is so special in this, we can see 4 different galaxies that are trying to interact with each other. They are in a very small distance, right? And one galaxy is like edge on towards us, that you can see this like spindle over here. Okay, one is an elliptical galaxy like an egg in the center, and just 2 more galaxies can be seen in the picture. If you look carefully, you can see many more. Now, after this, now let's talk about the story of Hubble Space Telescope. So, Just a second, there is some issue with the PowerPoint. See, radiators are used to radiate the extra heat from the telescope out in space. And if infrared instruments are there, that means they need to be kept in cooled. Just one second, there is some issue with the PowerPoint. I'll restart again. Okay, so now let's talk about the story of Hubble. Right? Do you know Hubble also has a mother? Yes. Dr. Nancy Roman. She is known or popularly known as the mother of Hubble Space Telescope. The reason is simple that she was the one who conceptualized this and helped in the initial days of planning the telescopes like Hubble. Right? So she was not the one who invented the Hubble, she was not the one who worked on the designing of Hubble, but she was the one who worked at the NASA, right, and worked on sending the observational telescope out in space. Hubble is not the only telescope which is sent out in space. There are many telescopes, but Hubble is the biggest one and you can say the most advanced one. So Dr. Nancy Roman, she started this work in nearly 1960s, right? She started to talk about large space telescope and the advantages that scientists will get after sending a telescope out in space. She advocated that thing, okay, and later on she used to go to different colleges, different institutions. She used to advocate this fact. And later on, when the funds were required for the Hubble Space Telescope, she advocated the need of the telescope in front of the government. Right? You can see the model of LST, that is Large Space Telescope, which was later known as the Hubble Space Telescope. So this is a picture from 1960s. Right? In 1960s, the prototype of this was ready, that what should be the idea, what kind of telescope should go out in space. So this is a kind of picture which is from that time. Right? She had this idea in her mind and later on she advocated the need in front of the government. Right? And in 1977, the Congress, that the government over there in US, they approved the funding for the Large Space Telescope. In 1978, astronauts training will begin as they were supposed to send the telescope out in space, so it cannot be placed directly, right? And after that, two companies, NASA had to hire companies to make the mirror for the telescope, so they hired two companies. One is Perkin Elmer, and second company was Kodak, who makes the cameras. right, to make up the backup mirror. Okay, see, whenever we talk about any space mission, the funds are always limited, right? And scientists, they have to work day and night. Okay, they have to work day and night in order to make the mission effective. Okay, cost effective. So, in that case, initially a small amount was funded for this particular project. Okay, now after some time, this company, as I said, in Elmer, their work start getting delayed with time. Okay, in 1981, a team was made that is called Space Telescope Science Institution. So it's the operation team of Hubble which works from here on Earth, handles the Hubble for complete 24 hours in 4 different shifts. Right, they guide the Hubble, they take all the pictures, they work as a backend team in creating the amazing photographs for us. So in 1981, this team was established in Baltimore. Then comes 1983. This telescope, Large Space Telescope, was renamed as Hubble Telescope in order to honor Mr. Edwin Hubble. 1985, Hubble was completed. But what was the delay at that time? There was some checks that were supposed to be done, and in 1986, space shuttle disaster happened. Right, space shuttle disaster that happened. Right, and after that, scientists were like, well, let me say, if we have already spent too much, like they were too skeptical in sending the telescope out in space. But then there was some error. Again, the mirror was left to be completed. Okay, and initially they thought by the end of 1985 they will launch it. 1986 Challenger disaster happened, so mission got delayed by 2-3 years. Then in 1990, scientists finally thought that yes, we should do it. They got a go ahead from the director of NASA, and finally on April 24th, or for Indian time April 25, right, sorry, on April 24 it was launched. Okay, and then on April 25 it reached there. It was working fine for first 2 months until scientists realized that there are some flaws in the primary mirror that we have discussed. Right, now in 1990 they discussed the flaws, but from 1990 to 1993 Hubble kept on working because the flaw was there, and because of the flaw we were not able to focus on the distant stars. But what about the nearby targets? So it was able to capture the nearby target. So it kept on working. It gave us some important data, though all the data was not of any use, right? But some part of the data was useful. The first servicing mission was launched in 1993 during STS-61 mission. Then in 1994, for the very first time, we have seen the impact of a comet onto a planet. So there was a comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. It reached near the Jupiter. Okay, and because of the huge gravity, or you can say the large gravity of Jupiter, okay, that comet is split into 21 different parts. And luckily at that moment, Hubble was looking at the Jupiter. So all those 21 parts, it hit the surface of, or you can say it hit the gaseous surface of Jupiter. And some black marks were spotted on it. Okay, so in 1994 it recorded that, and in 1995 I have shown you that pillars of creation photo of Eagle Nebula in the starting of session, right? So it picked that particular famous photograph. 1996 first Hubble Deep Field image was captured, where they pointed the telescope into an empty area for 1 whole month. And do you know why Hubble was important? Because before this, we had very less clue about the universe. That means visual clue. We had a lot of theoretical knowledge with us, but the visual proof, we were started getting the visual proofs. 2001, some elements of an exoplanet were detected. Another servicing mission was launched in 1993. First servicing mission was launched. 1999, I guess 97 or 99. Second mission was launched. Third servicing mission was launched in 2002. Where new solar panels were given to Hubble. And now a total of 5 servicing missions have been launched. Last one was launched in 2009. 2005. Earlier we used to know that Pluto has 3 moons. In 2005, Hubble said no, Pluto does not have 3 moons, it is having 5 moons. Hubble completed its 1 lakh orbit in 2008. That means within 13 years, or you can say 18 years, right? It completed its 1 lakh orbit. Then it in 2010 and 11, that was the time when it computed the age of universe, right? And told us that universe could be like 13.8 billion years old. Okay, in 2014 we got a better proof for that, where we spotted the farthest galaxies that we could have seen. And in 2015 we got to know about the gravitational lensing. So we'll discuss about this topic, that what is gravitational lensing. It's like sometimes when they were observing the galaxies, some of the galaxies which are on the back side of another galaxy, we were able to see them. Why? Because of the effect of called gravitational lensing. Right? So they observed the effect of the gravitational lensing. So that was the story of 2015. I have told you about all the major achievements here, and till now also, even after 7 years, the Hubble is working fine. Okay, it's fit and it is in much better state than it was at the time of its launch. Only one defect was there, that was the anomaly in the mirror. Now we are going to see the universe through the eyes of Hubble. Right. So with this, I'm going to give you a visual feast here. Okay. Top 100 images you can say which were captured by Hubble. So I'm going to show you all those images. Right. Just give me 1 second. I'll close this and show that to you. Okay. So I'm taking you all to the European Space Agency's gallery, right, where they have put up top 100 images clicked by Hubble Space Telescope. Now just feast your eyes with these beautiful images of the Hubble. I'll share the link at the end of the session with you all, right, so that you all can read its description very quickly. Next 5 to 7 minutes, I'm going to show you all the top 100 images clicked by Hubble. I hope it is visible to everyone. So this is image number 1, Hubble's view of Jupiter. That is one of the moon of Jupiter, that is called Europa. Right. Moving on, second image, blazing starburst. That is one of the nebula. Image clicked on 25th anniversary of Hubble. Pillars of creation. Another image of that. Rings of relativity. So we talked about gravitational lensing. This is one of the proof of it. Another nebula, bubble nebula. You can see this bubble kind of shape over here. Antenna galaxies. That means two of the galaxies which are colliding and making a new galaxy. Horse head nebula. If you are not able to imagine the shape, you can see this kind of head over here. Okay, just like the horse's head, and this is the neck. Magnetic monster. So another nebula that you can see over here. Galaxies galore. So you can see again a deep field image of Hubble, or you can say Hubble ultra deep field. Right? Lot many galaxies here. Stellar forge. Close up of a galaxy. And this is Sombrero galaxy, edge on galaxy. You can see the edge over here. This shows the interstellar dust, okay, in that galaxy, and in the center that's the bright core of the galaxy. I hope all of you are able to listen to me and see me and the amazing pictures by Hubble. Saturn, latest Saturn portrait. Another nebula. Crab nebula, most detailed image of the nebula. Birthday picture, Lagoon Nebula, Spiral and Supernova, Butterfly Nebula, sharpest view of Orion Nebula, right? So this complete portion over here is the Orion Nebula. Whirlpool Galaxy M51 and its small companion galaxy over here. So cosmic dust bunnies, amazing picture. Another galaxy which looks like you can say a waterfall. See, in this image, this is actually the image of Cone Nebula, right? Something like this kind of cone is over here. Okay, that's why it's called Cone Nebula. Yes, James Webb Telescope is fully operational. Red Spider Nebula. Yes, Whirlpool Galaxy is known as M51. Amazing. Carina Nebula. The real colors of Saturn. Messier 106. Tarantula Nebula. A close-up of a spiral galaxy. This is Stephen's quintet. look of five interacting galaxies. Okay, anyone who can tell me the name of this galaxy? This is M82, right? It is having a very popular name, Pinwheel Galaxy. You can say one of the biggest image created by Hubbard. This is a spirograph nebula. Looks like a spirograph, this complete shape. See, two of the galaxies they are merging. Some cluster. See this NGC 7027. So a close-up view and a wide field view. Image captured in 2018 of Saturn. M57 Ring Nebula. Amazing ring nebula. Can you see the complete ring here? It is a planetary nebula with a star in the center over here. Okay, so in this image, this is image 57. If you can look carefully, it's because of the hitting of a comet, and that was like that Mark went away in 1996. Wow, colorful, beautiful clouds of Jupiter. See, on its 24th anniversary, it created this image. This is called Monkey Head Nebula. If you are not able to visualize how it is monkey head, then look at this shape and try to imagine a monkey's face. Now, this is a close-up view of Jupiter, and here my screen is not pausing, Kevin. I actually have to wait on the pictures so that you can see pictures. Right, so sometimes this break is more, sometimes this break is less. Okay, now over here you all can see this impact region, the black spots where the parts of the comet that they hit entered into the entered inside the Jupiter. And we got these black bruises. one of the most beautiful pictures of Jupiter clicked by Hubble. Jyotirmay, all these images are available on European Space Agency's website. So here you can see one of the globular clusters. See this twin jet. On both the sides of the star you can see the jet coming out. And this image marks the end of the slideshow. Right? It comes back again. Image number 1. Okay, so this is all about from the webinar, right? This is everything from the webinar about the Hubble. I hope you have learned about Hubble. One thing here, one point, or you can say, can we see the Hubble? The answer to this question is yes. Even after when the Hubble is moving at a distance of 500 kilometers, we can see the Hubble Space Telescope. How you can see it? See, because Hubble is moving in the sky, it is having solar panels. So sometimes what happens is that solar panels, they are aligned in a way that the sunlight, after hitting the solar panels, it reaches here on Earth. And during the night time, it might appear like a moving star. So what you need to do, there is a website that is called heavensabove.com. Go there, check for Hubble Space Telescope and check whether you are able to see the Hubble from your location or not. So let's celebrate this anniversary of Hubble after observing the Hubble Space Telescope. The observation time might be different. It might be possible for your location. Hubble is seen from your location today or tomorrow, or it is not seen. You might have to wait as well. Right? So with this, I would like to end my webinar here. Thank you so much for joining, and we will meet again in the next session of iAstronomer. I'm sharing both the links here to websites. One is heavensabove.com, where you need to go and check at what time Hubble Space Telescope will be visible. Okay, so the website name is heavensabove.com, that you need to go check. Wait, I'll put this in the chat box for all of you. And second website, yes, those who have seen a satellite before, they can easily identify the satellites. Right? I've sent both the links in the chat. And with this, thank you everyone. Have a great weekend ahead. Bye bye.